Aloha. Aloha Ke Akua. Aloha Aina. Malama Pono. Amene. Okay, it is the evening of the 17th of March. About 300 plus people were just killed in the Gaza Strip. And yeah, the MAGA people apparently are really intent upon ripping apart the United States of America as a democracy, apparently. Anyway, sorry, that's just, state of affairs. I'm wearing this. If you want to know more about this, then you have to hop over to my other channel. This is my G/PG, I guess it's PG today. We'll call it that. Well, GPG. I don't know if we're out of G yet. It is what it is. All right, let's see, some basics. This is going to be copyrighted material. So, copyright 2025, Benjamin Lipman, all rights reserved. No permission to copy, modify, or otherwise distribute audio, images, video, or other content without explicit permission. Mahalo. I do not give permission to apply any content or likeness in any form to any application involving artificial intelligence. That's right. Do not mess with my stuff, thank you. Yeah, and if you want to copy this, talk to me. People know how. We'll go back to this, but this is just more basic stuff. All right, today's topic is the 4 kinds of intelligence. Now, those of you who are familiar with me know that, well, I'm me. I'm just this guy, and I'm out in Kona. For some reason, I'm interesting enough that I'm being attacked in various ways. That's what this is about, and I apologize. Ekalamai. I don't think I could. It's just more comfortable for me to wear certain headgear these days, certain times. Okay, the 3 gates, which I've talked about. This is for you all. In the pulse, it's possible to feel how someone is unfolding toward enlightenment once they really enter the stream of that, and everyone is unique. And in Ayurveda, we have a prakriti and a vikriti, a constitution and an imbalance. That's tridoshic, how the 5 elements of Vedic science manifest in the physical body through the 3 doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha, and that's oriented on the spectrum from gross to subtle: earth, water, fire, air, space, the 5th element that somehow didn't make it across with Alexander the Great because it wasn't given to him. And my physics book dives into that a little bit because the deep question is, what is the vacuum in physics, right? Okay, well, I have my thoughts about that, and that may be, in fact, another channel we see. But I'm feeling a little pressure to get material out because I don't know how long I'm going to be alive. Fact. Okay, anyway, in the Pulse and in the Gita, yeah, okay, I have one version of the Gita here. I'm not sure which verse it is. I think it might be in chapter 4. Krishna is telling Arjuna about the shackles, the 3 shackles that bind the soul to the body. The iron shackle is the physical body. The silver shackle is the emotional aspect, which includes the sensory mind, the recalled memories, our emotional mind. Then there's the intellectual mind, the intellectual faculties which reflect, observe, ponder, so on, invent, whatever. That's the golden shackle. And then in my work, this isn't unique to me, I add one. I add the diamond shackle because it's super important. Teachers talk about this, but in this particular way of sharing, this would be me. The diamond shackle is the spiritual ego. It is the most difficult shackle Because if you have a spiritual ego going on, that part of your ego will hide it from yourself. Well, that's why in Hawaii they often say, you'll see bumper stickers or things that stay humble. Be humble before God. Yeah. And so what I say is that I feel divinity all around me. I don't think I would be alive now if that wasn't part of my life, to be honest. I am full sober because I've been given this, partly because I've been given this enormous kuleana, and that's how it is. For 12 years I was full sober, and actually that was how I hooked up with Lord Buddha some time ago, and that was a big one. So it has its place if you're serious about your own personal evolution. Intoxicants will slow you down. They can be an impediment. In shamanic practice, you can use drugs, Timothy Leary set and setting, and you can take a little helicopter ride, and I'm not going to say don't do that, because I have done that. But you have to be very intentional, and if you misuse drugs, that will take you off course, just like a diamond shackle, or if you get involved and attached to cities, spiritual powers, that will keep you from moving beyond that, because that's just the third eye. That's the sixth chakra. There's a seventh chakra. There's more. There's a lot more, actually. And that's where it gets better, actually, when you're beyond the seventh chakra. Someone said, oh, once your seventh chakra opens, you're enlightened. It's like, no. That's kind of like, now you can start studying for black belt. And then when you experience moksha, actual moksha, not a peak experience, not a satori state, but you actually are liberated. That's like you got your first dan, you have your first degree black belt. That's the beginning, actually. So there's a lot of stuff that is not adequately reported because, well, there's not a lot of good report. Now, me personally, pretty much if I know and it's safe to share, I will tell it. I basically can't lie. I basically can't steal. There's been a few blips in my life, in my childhood, and they still bother me. So that's me. But you know that about me. So the physical, those three gates, physical, emotional, mental, okay? And those are three basic kinds of, and then there's the spiritual aspect, the soul, what the soul actually knows. So the physical body is a form of intelligence. That's in martial arts or physical skills. Like, we work with pohaku here, rocks. And when you place a rock, you work with the rock. There's a physical skill in that, knowing how to place the rock, how to feel the weight of the rock, how the rock might move if it rolls in an earthquake or something. And then there's a spiritual aspect, because a lot of the pohaku here around here, especially if it's been part of a while, someone else touched that rock, maybe a bunch of other people, and they might have done it intentionally or with sacred purpose or feeling the presence of the goddess Pele, who is, that rock is very much part of her. So there is another subtle aspect to it all in that. But there's a physical skill like carpentry or picket, doesn't matter. But martial arts is my favorite example because for the gates, because some people that is their primary path. So when Bruce Lee was masterful, right? He was like in the zone a lot. This little guy, and he could beat anybody up, like it doesn't matter. Just wow. So he was clearly masterful in that physical gate, right? Just way out there. And any advanced martial artist totally understands this. And if you get into martial arts, you get, I don't know, up into like red belt territory and are serious, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. And then there's the emotional body, the emotional aspect, they actually call it emotional intelligence. It's super important, right? And if we see the people out there today in politics, clearly there's some people who didn't quite get their emotional intelligence, sweeties, right? They're They're actually deeply stunted in that. If you're willing to actually intentionally cause harm to someone and enjoy that, something's wrong with you. You aren't actually like full human being, frankly. That's something wrong. And I'm sorry. If somehow you got caught in that, you are on the wrong path, my friend. And if you're doing it in the name of religion, or think that somehow is Christian, you didn't get the memo. You just didn't. We're going to go into this. Then there's the mental, and we'll be going into that as well. Mental is obviously just intelligence, like the ability to understand something. How many words do you know? How many languages do you know? How many? Can you do math? Do you understand anything about physics or science? Do you understand that science is actually a quest for truth? Simply that. Science is the process of making a hypothesis that you think might be true and then testing it to see if it's true. It's all about what is true, and then having a conversation about what is true. And always there's a little doubt, because you never really know for sure. Absolutely, you think you have a good model. Einstein was deified in people's minds because he really nailed gravitation, right? General relativity is very cool. Special relativity, very cool. Photon theory, well, good so far as it goes, and I basically debunk that in my book. Not that it's wrong as far as it goes, but we have this dark energy measurement issue, and there's another way to see it that's simpler. Go back to Huygens as a deeper reality, and it just works out, I believe. Okay, so that would be, the physical intelligence is like physical skills, martial arts, that's the gate, physical gate. The emotional intelligence is love and caring. So the physical path is called karma yoga. The emotional path, the path of the heart, the path of love, unconditional love in its flowering, right, is called bhakti yoga. And basically, if you're in bhakti yoga, you are on the path of unconditional love. You are with Jesus Christ. Okay, you're in the field of Christ consciousness. This is your path. Simply that. And you are loving other, basically, until one day you have moksha in that path, and there is no separation. You are everything, right? The path of Jnana Yoga, the mental path, the path of the mind, is actually the most difficult. That's the path of inquiry and study. So mental has to do with inquiry, wisdom, scientific method, Vedic science, understanding. The master teachers in words who have the faculty to teach in different paths, different ways, right? And maybe I can offer a little bit in those things. Often they are Jnana Yogis, and that would be my teacher. My ex's teacher is Amma, beautiful Amma, hugging girl, clearly Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Now people talk about karma yoga as service. Now if you're doing this service because you're just doing, that's fine. But if you're doing it because you're loving, then it's actually Bhakti Yoga. Karma yoga is more like, well, it could be warriorship, actually. Warriorship for righteousness. Yeah. And we're in a time right now, there's a rising rage of righteous anger. So I may talk a little bit about that. It's actually dangerous, but it's also, at this moment, appropriate. All right, so then we have the fourth kind of intelligence, which is spiritual intelligence. And that is challenging because it's subtle. It's hard to verify with anything in particular. It's hard to talk about. In fact, my root guru said, if you have a spiritual experience, don't talk about it because you dissipate the energy of it. And that's true. And that's why both for Amma and Osho, a core practice is holding silence. Minimum communication, just the essence, or nothing if possible. And it's very effective. And that's the heart of Vipassana Yoga, the teaching of Lord Buddha. Very, very powerful. If you're serious about meditation and you haven't tried Vipassana, try Vipassana. You probably will experience more growth on your spiritual path in Vipassana than you can in any other 7-day process. And it's old, it's great, it's a beautiful container. There is Sangha there, so it's safe and comfortable and joyous. You won't be allowed to eat meat, you won't be able to smoke anything, you won't be drinking any alcohol, you won't be doing any drugs, you won't be having sex. And that's all that. It's a right-hand tantra. Yeah. Highly recommend that. Okay, so this spiritual aspect has to do with subtle perception, spiritual side. So we're going up the vertical path, right? Just as a reminder, let's see if I can find that. In other lectures, okay, I have to open the book now. We'll get there. There is vertical and horizontal, right? And the horizontal is the physical realm, and that would include pretty much cognition. So the first 3 gates, except the second gate is unconditional love, right? That is a spiritual process to unfold into spiritual, to unconditional love, bhakti yoga. In fact, if you're really on any of these paths as a spiritual evolution, then you are on the vertical. So you can be a Gyan Yoga and then you are on the vertical because you're into spiritual science. You're wanting to understand what is eternal truth. That's your passion. I know that path well. That was how I got my crown opened. And maybe I'll tell the story about that someday. So then on this vertical path, I introduced the concept of the Lipman scale, because there's the Kardashev scale. This is all in other material. So there have been some recent developments, but basically on the Lipman scale we have little a, which would be us now. Most of the people, I don't know, most. We don't have all the people on the planet actively pursuing the vertical path. Little a would be the whole planet is at least somewhere on the vertical axis. The whole planet is actually recognizing the value of growing spiritually as a human being and developing compassion and wisdom on the spiritual domain, right? What Buddha taught. Capital A would be the whole planet is in the field of unconditional love. The whole planet is with Jesus Christ, if you will. It doesn't have to be Jesus Christ, it's just Christ consciousness. Krishna can be Akua, Great Spirit, Allah, it does not matter. Buddha, in fact, they are the same thing, right? Ultimately, it is the same thing. Now, people fight over that. They are deluded, confused. They're actually fighting about power, money, land. Right now, there's a lot of land wars, and there have always been for some time, fights over land invoking a religious idea, right? Are you Jewish? Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? Right? The Crusades. That's wrong. That's just fighting over land. That's greed. That's something else. B would be the whole solar system, however that might work. And C would be the galaxy. And I believe because of us right now, we're in little c galaxy. But if we make it to A, we can be in at least little c, possibly. What I can share is that I believe we do have friends. And what's really cool is that when we're talking about unconditional love, when we're talking about the soul-to-soul connection, and if you have that, if you've opened up in that, you can feel other people and you can feel them at distance. This can happen with family. When I was in trouble up in Canada when I was younger, 23 years old, my mother somehow just knew, right? And everybody has a story like that. So what's really interesting about that connection, that soul-to-soul spiritual connection, I do not believe it is bound on the horizontal. The horizontal is the physical world, the 5 elements, which includes Akasha, space, okay? And space and time are, basically time evolves as entropy law in space. So they're coupled. And so they're kind of the same thing. Energy, which would be the other substance, fire, in space. Subtle fire, maybe. But anyway, the way energy manifests through space is the unfolding of, essentially, entropy law. But actually the emergence of space, the structure of space, unfolds in the presence of its own energy, I guess. Like the Big Bang, we're still trying to figure all that out, but that is a space-time phenomena. And when we're in our hearts and feeling someone else, there may not be a time lag. Someone could be on the other side of the planet and we might be able to feel each other because we're going deeper. We're going deeper than the structure, the fabric of space-time. We're going into God, basically, right? This field of unconditional love is there, and it's deeper. It's a deeper structure. So it is entirely possible that there can be communication between a planet here, this planet, and another planet instantaneously. There can be communication inside the galaxy, maybe beyond. In fact, I can tell you today, I think it is so. It is true. It's a breakthrough. It's exciting. And then if you look back in the records, the indigenous records, the other records, I mean, there's stories about connecting with other intelligence, other consciousness off this planet. And there seems to be some consonants, some different stories that are saying similar things. So it may, in fact, be true that we can communicate with beings on another planet many light years away instantaneously. But that will only be possible for people who are working on the vertical, right? It's a choice. You have to want this. You have to choose it. It's your birthright, and children may be taught and grown and developed into knowing love. Like here in Hawaii, the children, they're in a culture of aloha. They know it. Now there are children who are taught, hate all the white people, and now have some crystal meth when you're 12 years old or whatever. I mean, that's a tragedy, right? But I understand the anger, the righteous anger about the colonial conquest and the overthrow. 100% understand. But that's not an excuse to hate. There's no excuse for hatred, just hatred. That will stunt you, right? So righteous anger, when it's right, absolutely. Hatred, just for hatred, just hating someone because of their skin color or whatever, no. That's not emotional intelligence, quite the opposite, right? And so on that note, let's review this polarity, okay? What is Christ? Just go into this, right? Christ, what's the model of Christ? Christ, truth. Love, unconditional love. That's the teaching. Forgiveness. We have ho'oponopono here. Truth. Hariom, tat, sat. The way to divinity is the truth. Just straight up, the truth. Capital T, truth. What's universal truth? And then the relative truth, you're always aspiring to ultimate truth, right? In science, we're always looking for what is the deepest truth. In simple math, 1 + 1 = 2, and always will. If we talk about 1 + 1 = 3, we're talking about some metaphor about something else. We're not talking about math, we're talking about some other story, right? But in math, 1 + 1 = 2, it always will, right? Okay, forgiveness, ho'oponopono. Respect. Respect is the very heart of aloha. All of this is actually in aloha. If I respect you, I'm going to be telling you the truth. As, with it. My policy is I will tell the truth if it isn't going to cause harm. Sometimes Like with a child, you're not going to tell them maybe about what's happening in Gaza right now. So apologies, Kalamai, for that, but it just came out. Sometimes words just come out of me because Akua is insisting, I guess, or something. It's flowing. So the opposite of all of that, of Christ, would be what we might call the Antichrist, what's against Christ. Lies, pretense, manipulation, right? Lying. And you might lie about lying. You might claim you're telling the truth. Greed, selfishness, vindictiveness, going after people, making enemies lists, all of this. So, which politicians are which now? I'm trying to figure it out. Is there an alignment of certain behaviors? Greed, seizing land, talking about seizing land. I want Greenland, I want Canada. We're going to empty the Gaza Strip of all its people and make the Riviera. I mean, come on. So what is it? And who are you? Who are you? What do you, and what have you been? What do you want to be? What is your objective? What is your interest? Because if you're with the divinity and then you leave your body at the end of your life, your soul has aligned with divinity. And the divinity will be there for you and will hold you. And there's so many possibilities in that. If you haven't done that, if you're on the horizontal fully, what a tragedy. Because then when you leave your body, what's going to happen? You have no concept. Your soul has not aligned with anything. That's it for you. You lived in hell because you were full of lies, pretense, manipulation, greed, selfishness. You didn't ever find out what love is. True love, you never knew. Vindictiveness and hatred, that's your life. Kalamai, please, find your way to love. It's your birthright. Don't be a ditz. You were given human life. Human life is about opportunity to know God. So this is about emotional intelligence. And every human being, it's your birthright. Different levels. This is a training. This is a university in it. There's a lot of guides, a lot of teachers, a lot of people want to give you a hug. Oh yeah. And just go for it. Be with good people. Hug people, love people, share aloha. Is there really an option? Ultimately, like, would you want to live a different way? I don't understand. That's all I can say. I do not understand. So be it. So here you go. Everyone is going to be developed on the 4 paths, the 4 kinds of intelligence in their own unique way, but all of them are part of your birthright. All right, so then we get into, in a moment, I'll go a little deeper into knowledge. And I'll introduce you to some of the work of my Ayurveda guru. But first, as promised, I have to share from a holy book, although my teacher's books aren't holy. You'll see that. The book, the Bible, fell right open to Proverbs, and my eye went right to Proverbs 3, which I'm going to share with you now, because it's germane both to this lecture, but I think to this moment. So, further benefits of wisdom. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart. Now remember, this is an old book. We have to kind of like, it's old, and the words, it's translated, it wasn't written in English originally, right? But here we are. Keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years. And I guarantee you, if you're on the vertical path and you live in unconditional love, look at me. You'll live longer. They will prolong your life many years and bring you prosperity. And prosperity isn't just your bank balance, my friends. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Right? Integrity and reputation are everything. Here, everyone gets that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In other words, whatever you thought was true, I think something's true and then I find, I would put my glasses somewhere else. And, okay, so I have to let go of that and not, it's like, okay. In all your ways acknowledge Him, the Lord, and He will make your paths straight. If you're really tuned into divinity, it doesn't matter what the divinity is, if it's authentic divinity, you're really tuned in, that will always guide you the right way. If you follow your heart deeply, you will never go wrong. So if you just acknowledge your own heart, that's all you have to do, actually. Because your heart is deeply connected into the divine field. Okay? Do not be wise in your own eyes. So you don't have to believe any particular religious story. Just go with what's unconditional, universal truth. You have a heart. The heart is the aspect of your vessel that is closest to your soul. The closer you are to living your soul's truth, the more joy, ecstasy you will have in your life, the more wealth of all forms that you will actually manifest. Grabbing for a bank balance, that's false. That's not true wealth. Enough? Yeah, is enough. So just understand this. Do not chase money for greed. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. In other words, put your physical assets in service. Make that your life. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing. People will cherish you. They will help you. You will be quite comfortable. Guaranteed. And your vats will brim over with new wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. In other words, if you're getting some feedback that feels like it's a divine feedback, hallelujah, I'm being brought back onto the path. It's a gift. It's love. Because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father, the son He delights in. Blessed is the man who finds wisdom, the man who gains understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She, the wisdom, is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. In other words, because of wisdom, you will be happy. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. The right hand in Vedic, that's spiritual boons. The left hand is material boons, benefits. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Those who lay hold of her will be blessed. By wisdom, the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding, He set the heavens in place. By His knowledge, the deeps were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. My son, preserve sound judgment and discernment. Do not let them out of your sight. Be vigilant on the internet, my friends. There's so much lies driven by greed on the internet today. Some of it is just machinery. My son, preserve sound judgment and discernment. Do not let them out of your sight. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. If you've made peace, this is Ho'oponopono, if you're really at peace, you're in tune with divinity. And then all night long, you're swimming in the divine field. Nothing better than that. Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being snared. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it when it is in your power to act. What just happened? How are we having poor people starving on earth who don't need to be? Do not say to your neighbor, come back later, I'll give it tomorrow, when you now have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor who lives trustfully near you. What's happened with Canada, Mexico, etc.? Like, come on. The Canadians are furious. Do not accuse a man for no reason, righteous anger. When he has done you no harm, do not accuse a man for no reason. When he has done you no harm, righteous anger, different. Do not envy a violent man or choose any of his ways. Take note. The violence in movies and stuff, be careful. For the Lord detests a perverse man, but takes the upright into his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. True. He mocks proud mockers, but gives grace to the humble. The wise inherit honor, but fools he holds up to shame. Our moment now, we're seeing it, right? They're recently saying, oh, the judge called us up and said we should turn the plane around. Then they're like, well, but is it really a judge's order if it isn't written down in a formal way? Hello. Maybe there will be a moment when Kamala Harris is president and Donald Trump is actually in the elected chair for treason. And she decides at the 11th hour to call. But the warden is like, no, the dude has to die. So, I need written no. If the president calls and at the 11th hour and says, do not execute, they don't execute. Right? If the judge calls and says, turn the plane around, you should be turning the plane around. Right? No means no, famously. No means no. All right. Righteous anger, ekalamai. It's a crazy moment. I'm feeling a lot of people right now, and it's very strong. It is what it is. Okay, let's just take a deep breath. Keep going. Okay, so poetry by my Ayurveda teacher, that's next. The first thing is, though, we're going to go into so Ayurveda uses 7 different schools of thought. They don't always agree, but that's okay. They're all sources of information from teachers, and the fact they don't agree means there's a churn. Sometimes that's going to help you figure out what your question is, how to sort something out. But there's a school of thought called Nyaya, which is about judgment or discernment, or how to know if something is true. And there are basically 4 valid sources of knowledge. Pratyaksha, which is direct perception. Anumana, which is inference. So second, I infer that, I'm using my brain. Upamana, which would be to compare things. Or Shabda, testimony. So for instance, with computer gear now, or a phone, you kind of need to know what normal behavior of the equipment is, and then you can compare that to the experience you're having, and then you know if maybe you need to take it back because it may be hacked, it may be hijacked. You may not own your own equipment, right? And that's probably most of the routers on Earth right now. There are three sources of non-valid knowledge: samshaya, doubt; Brahma, B-H-R-A-M-A, Brahma, faulty cognition, so misunderstanding, and tarka, hypothetical argument. Like this thing about the judge, if it isn't a written order from the judge, but it's just a verbal, is that a judge's order? Right? Come on. That's a hypothetical argument, right? It's not valid. I don't think. Oh, they're going to put it in court, in our current courts. The court that said that, actually an insurrectionist, that's okay if they go on the ballot even though the Constitution says no. We see what happens. It's an interesting time. I'm just going to be here 2,300 miles of ocean between here and the continent, and we're in Hawaii. All is well. So Nyaya, my teacher, Dr. Ludd, this is a great book, by the way. I teach my classes from it. Goes with Vaisheshika, which is basically the Vedic science version of physics, which was inspirational. So Pratyaksha classifies, that's perception, as laukika, these are Sanskrit words, ordinary, and alaukika, extraordinary. Pratyaksha, perception, is knowledge produced through contact of the senses with the objects of the world. So very famously, this contact must be clear. It's your direct experience, right? The best source of knowledge. When in the twilight one perceives a rope as a snake, it is false and invalid perception, right? Famously, you see this rope in the road at twilight, and you think it's a snake. But then as you come up closer, you're, oh, it didn't move, and oh, it's a piece of rope just sitting there, fell off someone's truck. There are 5 ordinary external perceptions: hearing, touching, seeing, tasting, and smelling. Extraordinary perception is based upon association and intuition, and includes perception of the qualities of soul, thought, desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, and cognition. Now you'll have to unpack that, but the first 2, particularly soul, that's up into the vertical, okay? Ayurveda uses both ordinary and extraordinary perception as diagnostic tools. When a patient has a fever, it is measured with a thermometer. The skin looks red and feels hot, right? Pitta issues. Ordinary pratyaksha is that which can be experienced by direct perception through the senses. Extraordinary perception through association and intuition is developed through persistent yogic and Ayurvedic practice and daily observation. You have to meditate and inquire within. That's the beginning. And then you have to grow in the vertical. Anumana. The second proof is anumana. Anumana involves inference and cognition based on some previous knowledge or experience. Wherever there is smoke, there will be fire, if it's actually smoke. 10 miles away, not dust, right? 10 miles away behind the mountain, there is a big cloud of smoke. We have not seen the fire, but we have previous experience that smoke and fire go together. We have seen people dying. Hence we draw inference that man is mortal. Ayurveda can use inference to see which dosha is aggravated. For example, we can say that wherever there is inflammation, there is pitta imbalance, pitta, fire in the body, heat, inflammation. Upamana. The fourth proof is upamana. Upamana relies upon comparison. There's a kind of knowledge that comes when one perceives the similarity between the description of an unfamiliar object and something already known. Doctors compare disease processes and pathological conditions as one way of understanding. Ayurveda uses comparison to understand the different diseases in terms of their doshas. For instance, a pitta-type cold will show thin yellow mucus, a sore throat and fever, while a kapha or kapha type of cold will present thick, white, copious mucus, chest and bronchial congestion, and chills. Right? So one kind of is suggestive a little bit more like viral, but it's not like, but then you can bring the Western knowledge and the Ayurvedic together. They're beautiful together. But that would tell you exactly what you should be doing for food or not food, right? If you have a lot of mucus, then obviously you're going to not be consuming dairy, right? Shabda. The fourth pramana is Shabda. Shabda means sound. But here it means verbal testimony, that which is authentic and truthful. The Bible, the Quran, and the Vedas are, interestingly, I have those three here, are sacred texts. They are authority, which gives them authenticity and validity. These sacred texts receive the status, it's interesting he chose those three, well, he's my teacher, receive the status of authority from people who regard them as authority. Those authorities are called apta, those whose thoughts, feelings, and speech/actions are consistent. These people have told us that the Vedas are true. If you're living aligned with divine spiritual truth, right, you're living that way, you will be consistent because you're not going to do anything else. You can't. It's actually not possible. You might get angry, you're human, right? You might experience righteous anger, but it'll be a righteous anger, right? If God was walking the earth, he would feel the righteous anger in that situation too, perhaps. Huh? These sacred texts receive the status of authority from people who regard them as authority. These authorities are called apta. This is where it's tricky, right? Because religion uses the texts and then misuses them. People misuse them. Right? Those whose thoughts, feelings, and speech/actions are consistent. These authorities are called apta, those whose thoughts, feelings, and speech/actions are consistent. So someone who's using spiritual authority, watch them carefully. Are they consistently in alignment with God or not? Where was that? Hello? What's going on with these teachers, these people who claim spiritual authority? What are they? Make up your own mind. Should you trust them or not? A human being, don't trust any human being all the way. Buddha said, don't take my word for it. Find your own way. Find your own inner truth. Right? So there will be the authority, but then there's the direct experience. Not some idea you have in your head, but in meditation at a soul level, what do you directly know? You'll feel someone else and you'll know that they actually know love like you do, and you are sharing aloha together. You know it's true. And then you have that. Aloha. Aloha. Aloha Ke Akua. Aloha Aina. Malamapo. Amen. What is true? Okay, these people have told us that the Vedas are true. The rishis, the enlightened sages. X-rays, electrocardiograms, and MRIs are also objective observation. If an ultrasound shows that there are gallstones, we must believe it. The patient is one who knows the truth that he or she has a tummy ache, so we must believe the patient and listen with great respect. You have a pain. You're telling me. You're coming to me. Right? You're spending money to come to my clinic. You've traveled here, and you're coming to see if I can help you with your tummy ache. Okay, that must be true. Why do you have a tummy ache? Okay, I'll feel the pulse. Da da da. Oh, you'd better go get an x-ray for gallstones. We better rule that out, because if you have painful gallstones, we want to know. Okay, and then this is so basic. This is introduced in the book before the 5 elements, right? Because if you're in medical science, it's a science. The way to understand what is true is fundamental. And somehow the internet has really confused people. And there's so much false. It's astounding. I don't understand, to be honest. How are people being caught up in this? I don't understand. Anyway, our wonderful Wikipedia has an entry on Nyaya. And I brought it here, but I didn't really get there. But it's very interesting, because here they say Nyaya is a Sanskrit word which means justice, equality for all being, especially a collection of general or universal rules. But Nyaya could also mean that which shows the way, tracing its Sanskrit etymology. So Wikipedia is continuously evolving. But we're going back. This is, over 2,000 years or more. And so there's a lot of detail. And there's discussion of different conditions, components of inquiry, strategy of debate. So yeah, I mean, one way of using debate is tricks. But that's really not what I want to share. All I wanted to share was that there are these different orders of knowledge, and the best one is your own direct experience. And so when it comes to like feeling connection or having a social interaction, the very best, directly in person with another person, someone you're comfortable hugging. And then that's someone you both feel comfortable hugging each other, sharing aloha at that level. That's a friend. Doesn't matter, they can be Republican or Democrat. If you can get to there, you're good. You might not, you won't agree about everything. But what do you agree about? Probably if you're in the United States, the majority of people are going to want to live in a democracy. They're going to want to live as free people. And ultimately they believe in the rule of law. I do. I believe in those things. And I'm willing to fight for them, actually. Even put my life on the line. And in a way, guess what? Making this video, I'm exercising my First Amendment rights while doing what I have to do. All right. So that's about mental path, intellectual intelligence, the path of inquiry. Very important. Now my teacher, later, while I was still in school, he wrote this book of poetry. And there's a really nice one. I just opened to this one. It's called Awakening. In your daily life, you move freely between 3 states of awareness. So he's referencing the Mandukya Upanishad, if you want, look that up. Deep sleep, Sushupti, dreaming, Swapna, and awakening. And then there's a 4th state, Turiya. But though you pass through these 3 stages every day, still you are not awake. You remain asleep to the present moment. In your daily life, you move freely between 3 states of awareness. Deep sleep, no dreams, dreaming sleep, and awakened. Like your eyes are open and you're going about your day. But you have to be careful, because the title of this is Awakening. He's talking about something else. Not woke, okay? Awakening. Moksha. But though you pass through these 3 stages every day, still you are not awake. You remain asleep to the present moment. Now part of my purpose on earth is to help, if possible, I don't know, Akua, be willing. If I can, I would very much like to be somehow helping people find this awakening, this freedom. And it starts with knowing that you're a good person and living a good life and turning to the vertical. You have to make that choice. You have to turn toward the saints and the Buddhas and the angels, right? The rishis. You have to want that. That's critical. If today is cloudy, you go on dreaming about yesterday's sunny skies. If in this moment you are angry, you wistfully remember happy times. In every moment, you have the power to awaken. But where you have expectation, desire, or the need to achieve a result, there can be no awakening. In every moment, you can become enlightened in an instant. It does not take any time. There may be cultivation, but if it's the right moment, it happens. Just boom, like that. You will have conquered all of the other aspects of your being. And you will completely know not just soul, but existence. In every moment, you have the power to awaken. But the first step is to know your soul fully and witness everything else. That's called self-awareness, or self-realization is what I call it, stage 1. It's beautiful and very near at hand. Christ is right there to help you. Many are right there to help you. It's about developing this witnessing awareness. Meditation is the best path. But there are those 3 gates, and all 3 will take you there. In every moment, and everyone's going to have more one gate than the other. It's almost a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 split. But for a lot of people in the West, their hearts are so closed in the capitalist system. A really, really important path is the heart. Like it's so productive for them. And a lot of the people who are moving along, that's the one that they're opening in the West. In every moment, and Christ he came here, right, to the West. In every moment, you have the power to awaken. But where you have expectation, desire, or the need to achieve a result, Buddha would say, where you have an attachment, there can be no awakening. The shackle that binds you. What shackles bind you? What are your attachments? Can you transcend them? Not that you let go, like fully, like you may have to feed your children and all that, but the exact form that you're attached to, is that causing an obstacle? Are you working the wrong job that makes you unhappy and then you're grumpy with your children? If you had a little less money and you were more playful with your children and you had enough food, would your life be better? Maybe. Just an example. Desire and expectation keep you stuck in the dream. Desire and expectation keep you stuck in the dream. Right? So the silver shackle, desire, expectation, the golden shackle, keep you stuck. The vastness of your true self is no longer free, but is chained by memory and desire. We learn to have desire and expectation. We come into this world as babes. We don't have that. We learn it. It is taught to us. You long to awaken from your slumber. You yearn to understand life, capital L, life as a whole, and to know your place in the universe. So, you search for a mantra, a technique, a teacher. You think you need an outside agency to awaken you to the truth. But the power to awaken lies within you. Awakening is awareness. It is mindfulness. Bring total attention to what is happening at this moment. What are your eyes seeing? What are your ears hearing? Not what you think you're seeing. What are your eyes seeing? What are your ears hearing? Not what you think you hear. What are your ears actually hearing? What is your mind thinking? Can you witness your mind thinking? The Buddha said, Sit in meditation and witness the thought. Label the thought, let it pass. Witness. Core meditation technique. Witness the mind. Listen completely to the call of a bird, the cry of a child, the barking of a dog, or the rattle of a truck. Listen to every sound that comes to you without liking it, disliking it, or judging it. Witness. The sound is rushing towards you to meet you. Listen to the outer sound and let it pass through you. Follow the sound as it dissolves into the center of your being. Follow the sound as it dissolves into the center of your being. It passes through the senses, through the emotional mind, through the intellectual mind, into the gate, into your soul. Witness. Peace is listening to the sound, not you. When peace listens to the sound, there is no judgment. Peace is not the opposite of sound. Peace is the source of sound. Peace is the original sound. Awakening unfolds when not a single thing is excluded from your awareness. What filters are you applying, preventing you from perceiving reality? Outer looking and inner looking go together. Outer doing and inner doing go together. First, you experience an outer awakening. You become aware of the objects around you. Then you experience a physical awakening. You become aware of your body, your posture. Finally, you experience an inner awakening. You awaken to your internal thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And from there, you can jump into awareness itself. So the emotions also can block us, right? And we can unpack that. We can develop emotional intelligence and see how we're reacting emotionally, and that's keeping us from perceiving reality. Some people will then go and drink alcohol and they'll go deeper. Don't drink alcohol. Witness your emotion. Conquer your emotion. Understand the nature of your own particular psychological and psycho-emotional construct. How can you tune it up so you are living more aloha? You're putting as much aloha out into the world as you possibly can. Right? Tune your instrument. Polish your mirror. Finally, you experience an inner awakening. You awaken to your internal thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And from there, you can jump into awareness itself. Pure awareness. Sat Chit Ananda. Your consciousness expands and you awaken to the whole world, the whole galaxy, the whole solar system, the entire universe unfolds from within you. To be awake is to see life as a whole. You must be awake to see the dawn of love. You must be awake to perceive the dawn of light. Unless you are awake, you cannot hear the whisper of God. So this is a little discourse on the 4 kinds of intelligence. And just in case you need this, and this is just what I'm trying to do now. So there are 2 channels. This is channel A. There is a channel B. The second one. Yeah, the second one. And I wish that you respect my work, please. Respect me. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you for watching. I love you. Live love. Amen.